What's going on? What's going on? It's your guy Travelmatic, and we are back with another great live stream. And today is going to be a definite doozy of a good time to talk about remote working, digital nomad, um, working abroad, all that good stuff. If this is your first time, welcome. Definitely hit the subscribe button and like and share. You'll learn a lot about remote work, giving you a lot of opportunities to transition your skills from the cubicle to the laptop lifestyle. And so you can be like myself and Tiffany Sports and Heels.
Hey,
Welcome,
everybody.
Tiffany.
Good evening. Hey, Adrian. Glad to see you back.
Yes, yes. Just visiting. But welcome back, all the other people in the chat. Um, we appreciate you coming back to rock with us for another hour on Matic Mondays. So we hope that you learned something during this live stream. And tonight we are going to talk about quiet quitting. This is something that um, I think it's actually been around for a while, but it just kind of has an official name to it now. But my co-host Tiffany definitely wanted to talk on this, and we'll share some things and some of our opinions on it, and how and I think remote work can kind of help. I think you get a little bit more quiet quitting when you've left COVID time pandemic. Now you're back in the office and you just realize how much you just been pimped. Right. Let me that's not grammatically correct, but you have been let's say bamboozled uh in the office. And I think remote working definitely helps with that, helps alleviate it. I mean, you're still going to have craziness. You still got crazy employees that's going to always be there.
Yeah.
But if you got a little life balance, I think it all works out good too. What do you say, Tiff?
Well, first of all, I don't, some blogger somewhere coined the term quiet quitting based off of, let's be real, TikTok videos of people making personal decisions and setting boundaries at work. And someone decided that that was a form of quitting, and therefore quiet quitting has become such a hot topic. Um, but if you look at what the definition is of what they're considering quiet quitting, um, you know, I think it's important to understand what they're saying quiet quitting is, and then what quiet quitting actually is, or what people are actually doing that they're referring to um, quiet quitting. So, what whoever term made this term up, right? So, essentially, social media has essentially defined quiet quitting as not actively going above and beyond. So basically, you're going into your 9 to 5, um, and you're doing your duty. You're doing your job as is written in your job description. You've done your job to the point of being able to be a solid contributor asset to the team, right? If you want to use those terms when it comes to people, you're a quality contributor to the team. You're just making a personal boundary to not go above beyond for the role that you're currently in. Uh,
Right.
and organizations and companies are pretty much saying, well, that's a form of quitting. And I think my personal thought is, I think it's unfortunate that people are being penalized for simply doing their job, not going the extra yard, um, and making the choice not to. Now, this is not something everybody's doing. Some people are obviously still going above and beyond. But I don't think it's detriment or bad to expect someone to come in and just do their job. That's it. Just simply come in every day and do their job.
Okay. let me give a definition for the people in the back. I just kind of Googled something, but it says quiet quitting means remaining in one's workplace while not actively going above and beyond. The concept of quiet quitting is resonating because the pandemic, as I mentioned, has been a time of reflection as people reassess their priorities and consider the fragile nature of humanity. So that's kind of like to help everyone grasp everything with that. Actually, as I was saying to you last night, we were doing a little pre-gaming on here. I wanted to share this is kind of gonna tie everything in with what you just talked about and what I actually read in the definition. Because like I said, it reminded me of you with a situation you told me, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds like something Tiffany did." It was funny though, but okay, let me pull that up if I can find it. Oh, I think I actually um history and all right, I got it now. Let me just show the screen. I was
So
trying to close.
what's the video?
This is a video I saw on YouTube from CNBC. I believe they were talking about it.
Okay.
And here it goes. Well, let me back it up a minute. You got to see what's.
This is one example of quiet quitting, a trend that has been dominating social media and especially TikTok. In July, Zaid Khan, a 24-year-old engineer from New York, posted a video about quiet quitting, and it went viral. Since then, the trend has spread like wildfire, with hashtags like quiet quitting, quitting, and quieting.
Does anybody want to work anymore?
Then the mainstream media began covering it.
Like working overtime? No thanks. Late night emails? Ignore those.
Quiet quitting is a really bad idea. If you're a quiet quitter, you're not working for me.
The world is changing and the way of work is changing. Even people saying, I'm not going back to the office. And if I do, I'm definitely quiet quitting until I find a job that is a lot more flexible.
COVID was that ultimate reset. COVID was that moment where people started to ask a bigger question. What do I want for my life? Do I want to continue working the way that I have? Or do I want something different? Do I want to continue to work, which is awesome, but do I also want to be able to enjoy my family? Do I also want to be able to enjoy my life? So I think all of these things are coming in stages, and I think quiet quitting is just the trend that's come as a result of the ultimate reset, which is COVID.
Something like 40% of workers are now saying they plan to change jobs this year.
The pandemic also triggered the Great Resignation.
Trying to retain people, but they're really running scared.
Millions of Americans quit their jobs in 2021, some for better opportunities, some for a career break. The pace of quitting continued well into 2022. This chart tracks job openings and labor turnover in the U.S. economy, JOLTS for short.
We do think that quiet quitting is part of the Great Resignation story. So it fits into the general story of having a high level of quits over the past year and a half, and certainly a very tight labor market. And in that type of a labor market, it makes a lot of sense that workers may not be willing to work as hard as they have in the past because it's very easy to get alternative employment.
Let's stop it right there. So, what do you think about that, Tiff?
I was on mute. I think they're missing a lot of key things. I think they're putting a lot of responsibility on the employee. They're making it sound like the employee just decided, oh, I'm going to set this boundary and I'm no longer working overtime or answering emails after 5 o'clock. I'm just going to go in and do my job every day. And they're putting a lot of responsibility on the people who are actually doing the jobs and taking the responsibility away from those that dictate these policies, practices, and procedures that force employees to make tough decisions about their personal lives, period. If an employer, we just saw an example there, you had 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 to reach out to me to talk about my sales pitch. If your day is so busy that you can't reach me until after 5 o'clock, the common courtesy is say, hey, my calendar's booked up all week. I really want to talk to you about your sales pitch or the sales pitch. I know it's going to be after 5 that I'm going to have my next available opening. Can I schedule some time with you? But instead they're getting, hey, are you available right now? And it just takes advantage and disregards what people do for their lives. It's as though you're supposed to be plugged into your job 24/7 and have that availability. And yes, we understand you have a family, but they want you to reprioritize the workforce. And COVID told us and showed us that that's not something we can afford to do. I mean, many employers during COVID fumbled the ball on how they treated their employees. They had them working in unsafe conditions, or they lost a lot of overhead or lost a lot of people, or maybe they let go a lot of people and they put a lot of work and had a lot of high demands on their employees. When their employees did become ill, they told them that tough crap. You got to come in and work anyway. If their family members are sick, we can give you 3 days, but we really need you back. I think they're missing in not willing to talk about the corporations that, basically take advantage of employees' positions to further, their financial end game, to appease their investors. It's no longer about, they don't care about the employee at all, and so they use these trick words like we're a family, those kind of things to try to get you to relax your boundaries. But at the end of the day, this quiet quitting that they're calling is really just saying, I'm going to perform my job duties the best of my ability, but I'm only going to be willing to do that within the boundaries of my workday. Because I need to not only work, I need to be able to run a household, or I need to be able to, take care of a sick child, or I need to be able to, take care of a parent or a spouse.
Mm-hmm. Let me go back to the comments here. Our guy Jermaine Brown, like a Baron here, said, "Do you think more people are saying YOLO and leaving without leverage?" I think in the last part of this video I just showed, actually hone into that. Like a lot of these Gen Zs, which make a lot of the workforce now, they have access. They have access to social media, where a lot of these young kids are making good money, just sitting in their basement making TikTok videos, as well as sitting in their basement gaming on was it Switch or whatever, Twitch, and making good money. So there's alternative ways of making money these days that they don't have to sit in a cubicle. So,
but I still think that doesn't touch on the fact that Gen Z, it's Gen Z,
mm-hmm.
that generation has watched Gen X and boomers work 40, 50 hours a week, stressing over a job, and have decided, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to allow a job to, those kids grew up, latchkey kids and younger, where both parents worked in the household, and their parents worked from, 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. sometimes. And those kids have watched their parents do all of that and not be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And I think the younger generation is saying, no, I'm going to work, and I'm going to work hard, but I'm still going to set boundaries that allow me to have a life outside of the workplace. And I keep adding that life outside of the workplace, because that's something that remote work has given people the flexibility to be able to manage their life outside of the workplace. And because traditionally, we had to schedule our life around the workplace. And now people are saying, Gen Z is saying, well, I'm going to schedule my workplace around my life. And I think that's the switch that we're starting to see, especially with that younger generation. They're saying, this is a small part of my life that funds the rest of the things I want to do in my life. Where our generation is, you get that job because that's how that's how you're gonna live. And that's what you focus everything, your holidays, your vacations, all focused around that job. And Gen Z is not having it. They're saying, no, my life is the centerpiece. And what I do for a career to pay bills is just what I do to pay bills. It's not my end all be all.
Mm-hmm. Have you in your contract? You don't have a lot of Gen Zs in yours, in your contract, right? More yours are tenured people.
Yeah, they're more. There's a few Gen Zs, but I have a unique situation. I understand now, having been in corporate long enough. And so without saying anything, I like to be transparent with you guys because I feel like this quiet quitting thing is kind of personal. And I think for our generation and younger, it's personal because we've been the overachievers. We've been the go above and beyond. I'll give you an example. This just happened last week. Literally last week. During an interview, they're asking about my work history. And I'm telling them, how many projects I've supported in the past, early on in my career. And then I let them know that, this was a mid-level position. And then I let them know what I've been doing, how many projects I run, as of late. And so when it got to the end of the interview and I asked questions about, can you give me an idea of your expectations of project load? Like, how many projects are you expecting me to support? And he literally said 10. He's 10. And while that might not sound like a lot to you, the other lady who was in the actual interview with us was taken completely aback. She was completely shocked that they would try to put 10 projects on a resource. And on top of that, they were asking me if I was interested in project management and program management. And to which I said, absolutely, as a career path, those would be things I'd be interested in. But they're saying, they literally said, so I said, would that, we would renegotiate when that time came, we would, basically, I would be promoted into those kind of roles. And she literally stopped me and said, no, you would do that at the salary that you're at. And then, step into those roles, but at the salary that you're currently at. So basically, she's letting me know that in advance, that she has the expectation that I am to perform 3 different roles, not just 3 different roles, but 3 different levels of roles that have quite significant pay raises in between that I would not benefit from. That's what I mean by not going above and beyond. Because doing that only shows that you can handle more. And if you don't have a way of setting a boundary, they're going to pour on you whatever they can. If you say you can support 10 projects, they're going to drop 10 projects on you and expect you to be able to manage that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by Gen Z is saying, no, how many projects are you expecting me to support? If it's over an absorbent amount, where that's the work of 2 people, they're saying, I'm not interested in that role. Is there someone else that's going to be working with me in tandem? Are we a team of people? Because that seems like a lot. Even the person interviewing me, the young lady, said that's a lot. Typically it's 2 to 4, but never 10. And he doubled down, 10. It could be as many as 10. So that lets me know this is not a role I really want to be, and I'm really interested in. Not because 10 is a lot, because 10 is a lot. It's because I'm not at that stage in my career where I have to kill myself to prove myself anymore. I'm a damn good worker, which is why I have the resume and the skill sets that I have. But you're not going to pour everything into me because you have a lack of managing your team and your workforce and your workload, because that's really what it is.
Decrease. Right, definitely. They will definitely put it on you. If you ask for 10, they give you 12. But yeah, it's all good stuff. I wanted to get into that one video too you sent me, that TikTok video. let's go through these comments right quick. Actually,
Yeah.
Brown Liquor Baron says I have quietly quit almost every day. Right.
That means you're doing your job, B. That's all that means. You're doing your job.
But you know what, too, though, in the same like the reason why I asked you that is because like a particular contract that I know of, it's a lot of them on where I'm at, and I'm telling these young people they don't want to work these days. They don't. They don't. I'm talking about if you serving fries, or uh, if you're doing big data on a million rows a day in Excel or in a database. In the same age, one could be 20 and the other one could be 20, but they all have that same like man, I don't really want to do no work today. And I'm like, man, you can't, man, because other people are dependent on you to do certain things. Now there's a point of doing your work, then there's a point of being subpar, and I think it can kind of be a gray line in there.
Yeah, but I don't think for the mass majority that they're just not performing. When they're talking about quiet quitting, they're not talking about people who are underperforming. They never mention anyone underperforming. And like I said, even in the definition, they say that quiet quitting is just not going above and beyond. It's just giving the minimum of what is required to be successful in the role. That's it. And so I think it's kind of unfair to say that Gen Z overall doesn't want to work. I think there are those within the Gen Z age group that are spoiled. You know, they didn't have to work for, and we came up differently than they did. Let's just be honest. They came up with not even a microwave. We grew up in a microwave society, but we remember putting our food in the oven to warm it up like that. We remember those days. Those kids had no idea what that means. We had to move our antenna to get the right TV channel. We had to wait to get cable. You know, only one person in our neighborhood had cable. You know what I mean? So everybody went over there to watch the fights or pay-per-view. They didn't grow up like that. They grew up where everything is fast. So they're used to fast money, fast lifestyle, quick, don't have to work hard, because they've seen us do it. They've seen us work hard, and it takes a long time to be able to buy a house. And they're just like, we're bypassing all of that. We're buying our houses at 19, 20, 21, and we're going to set up our boundaries. I mean, I know some young people now who are, they're under 30, and they living better than I did when I was under 30. And I had a full-time job, a career, apartment, a car. They doing better than I am because they own a property and this and that. So, it just depends on who you're talking about. But I think bringing it back to quiet quitting, it's just not fair to say that these people are underperforming. They're just performing at the standards that's expected of them and not beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get me wrong. I've been to some places where they've said, I don't have it in me to work today. And they've learned to manipulate that excuse to not work. But they're also smarter than us. I can't be mad at them for being smarter than us, because we probably had that, but we was too scared to put our foot down and put those boundaries up. They're not. They don't give a damn.
Right.
That's what I love about them.
That is true. J. Clyde, salute. What's going on? They're more cognizant of work-life balance. Yeah, you just said that. We got Tiffany Pooler important with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate. I think you just did like something earlier, didn't you? Yeah, we did two of them. Look at you, Jeff.
Thanks, PFP.
That's one for me and one for her, I guess.
It's both for me. Just playing.
Oh yeah, that's another show. Mocha, okay. Jay Clyde and Tiffany, all these pleasantries. I was trying to see if anybody.
Looks like Mo Cheese is in there.
I saw somebody say Mo, but I didn't know if they was talking to me or not. But I didn't see Mo Cheese on yet. Yeah, I'm still scrolling down. Brown Liquor says go above and beyond with little reward. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Can you remember a time in your career that you went above and beyond and was not rewarded? Just
Man.
name one. Maybe pick the worst.
That I was not rewarded?
That you were not rewarded for going above and beyond.
I mean, that happens all the time. I don't get rewarded. It's just like, hey, you working, ninja. That's your reward. But yeah, that's right. You just get a little pat on the back.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair anymore, because I've seen coworkers not go above and beyond and still be in positions for promotions and promotions and other opportunities that they necessarily didn't earn because they didn't go above and beyond. They just knew the right people. They had relationships with the right people. And let me be clear, I've progressed in my career. I've been promoted several times. So it's not, I don't want to make it sound like I'm bitter or anything. I just think it's unfair to ask of someone to give up some of themselves to appease where they work at, because that's what you're asking me to do. If you're asking me to be, like in the example we saw in the video, if you're asking me to be available after 5, if you're asking me to come in early, if you're asking me to take on additional workload because we have shorter staff, if you're asking me, to cancel my vacation because we don't have anything to cover, you're asking me to take away from my personal life to give to you with no compensation whatsoever. Like literally, I'm just giving it to you. I'm handing you a piece of my life and my time that I can't get back, just so you can be happy. And then I'm not seeing the reward on the other side. So that's where I think quiet quitting is. These organizations, like I mentioned, these companies dropped the ball when it came to COVID. They did. They told the employees, you can work from home, but you got to be on camera 24. You can work from home, but you got to work from home, or you still got to come into the office. Then all the executive staff members are in Cabo or, somewhere else. Some of the demands were ridiculous, especially for the people who work frontline during the COVID pandemic. I mean, we're still in it.
Down there with Kesey.
Little to no rest, vacations being denied.
This is the one that you sent me.
Yes.
About, you wanted to play this one, toxic leadership, so big mad about quiet quitting?
Yep, I think she touches on a lot of things I've already said, but she explains it very well.
Okay, here we go.
You have to hit unmute.
Oh, yeah.
Response to quiet quitting. So hearing leaders say that their response to quiet quitting is quiet firing tells me a few things. One, there are way too many people in leadership positions who have no business being in leadership position. Two, you don't quite understand how labor laws and wrongful termination work. Three, you are showing your hand that you being in a leadership position is not about the work or the product or the service, but it's about power and control. So quiet firing is, frequent cancellation of one-on-ones, not giving someone development opportunities, pretty much just treating them so poorly that they end up quitting. There is so much wrong with that thought process that it's not even funny. Quiet quitting is not insubordination. It's doing the job you are hired to do. And usually by the time someone quietly quits, they have documented evidence that they've gone above and beyond several times, and the organization has failed to provide them with either promised promotion, promised compensation, or resources to reflect and support the work that they've done. So to counter that with, now I'm going to make this person's life miserable. Now I'm going to intentionally deny opportunities to progress because they are no longer going above and beyond. It's not that they're not doing their job, but they are no longer willing to be exploited. What in the world? I need my HR folks to tell their leaders, don't do that. Y'all are going to be paying settlements up through the wazoo. Don't do that. Don't play that game. It also demonstrates a culture of blame, which is typical in a toxic organization. If you notice that your shining stars are scaling back, rather than taking a moment and going, okay, we need to look at this. We need to see where we have room to do better. And if you don't have room to do better, okay, let's look at our scope of work or what we've been pushing for people to do. You don't play the let me screw this person over game, because y'all gonna mess with the wrong one and end up sued like I don't know what. The beauty of a litigious society is it works both ways. Y'all stay away from that quiet firing foolishness. It'll cost you.
Mm-hmm. You heard the sister. You on mute.
I said the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because there's a culture of, like she mentioned, of blame. And so now it's how can we retaliate against quiet quitting? How can we get people back to work? And instead of saying, let's support the workers who are doing their jobs, it is, let's make them feel even worse. Let's apply more pressure, because that is going to get them back to how we want them in the workplace. That's going to get them back under our control, whether it's forcing them back into the office, and sitting on Zoom calls while they're in the office, or forcing them to go to a hybrid model when they were clearly successful and profitable during COVID, 100% remote, or quiet firing them, understanding and seeing that, hey, this person is no longer going above and beyond. They've began to set boundaries. They've taken vacations this year and they're just not producing like they had previously done. So let's quiet fire them because they're not producing to the same level they were previously.
Right. Mocha says she don't understand this quiet quitting or quiet firing. I don't know if she stepped out or whatever. You want to help Mocha
out? Mocha, so quiet quitting is just doing your job. It's just doing your job, not going above and beyond. Same job, just not going above and beyond. Quiet firing is, like the young lady mentioned, is just making it difficult for that employee to remain there, removing opportunities for advancement and growth. Promotions are not an option. Removing one-on-ones where they're getting coaching, or basically disconnecting the relationship, and any opportunities that might come from that relationship, and in order to make it so uncomfortable that employee quits versus them firing them.
Right.
If those explanations work for you. If not, you're welcome to catch this replay, and you should be able to see that about those explanations about 15 to 34 minutes after the show starts, between that time frame.
Well, I think to help her, because isn't she in law enforcement? It's more like if you had a shift where you were to be at the national championship doing, they paid y'all to be there for 4 hours before the game, 4 hours after the game. A melee breaks out because of the home team upset, and you looking at your clock 4 hours after, like, man, yeah, it's time to go. They're like, hey, Officer Mocha, can you stay a little longer to, we need to get, man, y'all only paid me for 4 hours.
I don't think that's a good example. I'm sorry. I don't think that's a good example.
Well, what do you think?
Because quiet quitting is not you saying, nah, I'm not available. in that circumstances. I think quiet quitting is if they say, I need you to work the Dolphins game Sunday, but we're not paying you no overtime and we're not paying you. We just need you to do it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's the same thing. Like, she has been paid 4 hours before and 4 hours afterwards. Something unexpected happened. Because now you're saying that that's more like I'm intentionally doing that. I'm intentionally saying she's gonna work this game. I'm just saying in situations, these scenarios that I've showed on the first video, like, or in situations that come to you, hey, can you check this email out right quick before you leave or whatever? And it's 4:55. Now the person may think like, I don't think it's nothing for you to check it with 5 minutes to go, but you yourself, you think that, hey, this is gonna take me longer than 5 minutes. No, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not gonna go over the clocked hour. So that's what I'm saying. Like with the melee at the World Championships, it's something that's unexpected, and they want you to help out. But man, y'all only paid me for 4 hours after the game. This gonna be another hour, maybe 2 hours afterwards. Are y'all gonna pay me? Like, yeah, we gonna take care. Like, I don't know, because I know y'all be cutting me close on time. That's kind of like, I'm only gonna do what is asked of me, what is contractually asked of me in these roles. And before, most people would do it because they were a team player, or they were like a teacher's pet, or they were scared
told,
they make it.
Most people did it because they were told that's the way to promotion. That's the way to climb the ladder.
Or I hope I get looked out on, when my promotion comes up or whatever. Or I'm really want to suck up to the manager so I can get a promotion or whatever. And you may get burned or something like that, which that kind of happens all the time. So that's what people are kind of tired of, that type of craziness in the workplace, where you put all your time and effort taken away from your family, and then to get get done wrong get the bad end of the stick after you don't put all your time and effort and energy into your job.
Yeah. So, it makes me think that employers don't think that working for them should be a mutually beneficial relationship. It's almost that mindset. When I interview, I literally make sure that they know that I have the expectation that this is supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship. I come with a certain skill set that can help your organization move forward in some direction, a positive direction, because otherwise you wouldn't be looking at me. I'm going to be those value add. Remember they used to use that back in the early days? I'm going to add value to your organization because I have a certain skill set that you're lacking that could help you please your customers or your base so that your investors are happy with the progress. That's why you're hiring me. And you're bringing me and offering me a salary to compensate me for the usage of my skill set. So it should be a mutually beneficial relationship. Whatever we do should be mutually beneficial to both of us. You're getting what you need, I'm getting what I need. But I think what is happening is employers have taken this mentality that we owe them something. The workers owe you something. We owe you something. So we should go above and beyond if we want to get to the next level to prove that we deserve opportunity, or to prove that we're loyal, or to prove, it's always we've got to be doing something for you. You don't have to do anything for us because we just paying you. That's all. You ain't got to do nothing for us. You got to do everything for us. We ain't doing nothing for you.
Right.
And I think that's where Gen Z is saying, no, this has got to, it's not going to work unless both of us are happy with the direction that we're going in. And so that's where I think the disconnect is.
You know what? Actually, I think this may be a good segue to talk about some of the remote roles we were looking at earlier for this live stream. And I say that because in reading some of the descriptions, and I'm just going to go right to it. I found this real funny. It instantly stuck out to me. This is This is a remote role, right?
This the one I sent you?
No, actually, this is one I saw.
Okay.
Senior implementation specialist. It's kind of like a customer success manager role. Okay. This actually what I was a long time ago, which it ain't nothing but an account rep. It sounds real techie, but it's not. So okay, Agiloft. They are a what is it? They do contract lifecycle management platform. They pioneer the applied use of artificial intelligence to enable next generation business commerce. And so, what you will be doing, lead implementation efforts on large scale, multi-dimensional projects, kind of like the point of reference for the customer and like the delivery team or whatever. So yeah, and I'm reading here, it's good, cool little role, but at the very last part here, not very last, but what you will bring, it says a desire to go beyond the job description to impact the success of exciting growth stage company.
See, they're already telling you, we're only going to pay you this amount, but we expect you to go above and beyond. I don't even know how do you put that in the, how does the hiring manager put that in the job description and be disappointed when they find that person quits? Like, oh, I can't believe they quit. What do you mean you can't believe they quit? You're already telling them that you're gonna pay them less than what they actually are gonna put out.
Well, I mean, they're gonna be working more than what they're getting paid.
Exactly. You're gonna get paid less. You're gonna get paid less.
Well, yeah, same thing. Yeah, same.
Yeah, you're gonna get paid less despite your output. So no matter what your output is, your output is meets expectations or exceed expectations, you getting the same amount of money. I just want you to know that up front. So why should I exceed expectations? Why?
And see, this is why we hone in on the remote work. You can't dodge this bullet. You can't dodge situations where the melee happens or the email comes from your manager to review or whatever. It's going to happen more than some. So when you remote working and you're in your house, or if you're in Guatemala, you're in El Salvador, you in London, hey man, I'm gonna get me. I'm gonna create my own work-life balance, one way or the other, with this remote work. You're in that office, man, you gotta stay there and get in that traffic after you get finished doing
and to be honest, our generation, we're Gen X. I don't, you're Gen X because I'm a little older than you. But
I'm a millennial, girl. Shit.
Oh yeah, you might be. I might be Gen X. I don't know. I don't know. But what I know is we can learn a lot from the setting of, when I think about how I operated in my early career, how many late nights I worked, how many Saturdays I worked, how many favors I did. I'll give you an example, and I actually hope that the people involved in this scenario are watching. But I had a whole team that basically left. They either had children or they quit, and I was the senior member of the team, and so I had to go above and beyond because otherwise our whole department would fall apart. I didn't have to; I chose to. I'm gonna be clear about that. And at the end of the year, I had amassed a number of emails from the executive management team, from several CEOs and several leadership positions that in the emails they acknowledge, thank you for going above and beyond. Thank you for going above and beyond. Thank you for going above and beyond. And when it came time for the annual review, I wasn't promoted to the next level. in the organization, not management level, just another associate level. And when I asked why I wasn't promoted, the answer I got from my direct manager was, I didn't see evidence that you went above and beyond. Even though I presented on letterhead examples of me being physically told I went above and beyond. So at that point, I decided it's time for me to find a place that appreciates the work that I do, and is going to compensate me fairly for it. And I've done that now. But this is what they want. They want you to have that mindset that if you do this, we'll give you this. And then when they don't give that to you, which we saw during COVID, they expect you to go back to the old way and forget that they've already broken promises. They've already broken that relationship. It's no longer mutually beneficial.
Right. Mocha says, with remote working, can you do both? Or is it like working for a corporate organization?
Well, she's saying, can you working for remote, can you do quiet quitting? Yeah, of course. You can quiet quit whether you're at McDonald's or you can quiet quit where you're working from the living room. There's not it's not narrowed down to just corporate. It can be at McDonald's working the drive-thru. You just decided you're just gonna take orders and hand people their food, but you're not gonna stay late and help close. That might be, your form of quiet quitting. Yes, you can be quietly fired in any workforce, whether you're working in a plant, whether you're working, working in construction or working in a corporate job. You can absolutely be a victim of quiet firing.
Yeah. Quiet quitting has been going on for decades. I mean, the VPs and directors usually been doing that. Management, while they had everybody else going above and beyond. That's why they put that in the job scripts, because I ain't about to go above and beyond. Y'all gonna go above and beyond.
Facts.
So Facts. I'm about to go on vacation to Cabo,
Facts. Shout out to Keezy.
Yeah, shout out to Keezy in the sand. But yeah, and the quiet firing, they could, I call it, smoke you out.
Yeah.
They just do crazy things to they rather you quit. I mean, I'd rather I quit than I'd rather they fire me than me quit, because you gotta get that unemployment.
Exactly. That's why you're gonna fire me. I'm not gonna quit. You're gonna fire me. You're gonna tell me today or such and such is my last day.
Yes.
There ain't nothing you could do to make me quit.
Other than find a job that's better than this.
Even then, I'm going to. No.
What?
I'm not gonna start the other job for 30 days. You're going to pay me. You're gonna pay me.
I know that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you can do both. Both can be had in any industry. OW504. What's going on, brother? Out there in Colombia. Mocha Bella and Tiffany. Okay, so we getting close to the end. Let's go over some jobs. If people want to get some jobs, some remote jobs, because that's what we do. We give the people what they want. But I need to stop sharing that, and I need to share. Let's go to our old faithful. Actually, I know a young lady that got on at CVS Healthcare just last week.
Yep. So I provided this job. It's I focus the jobs that I submitted for you guys on healthcare, and that is because it is open enrollment season for several insurance providers, healthcare providers, and so September, October is usually a hiring blitz to get more people. So this is a great opportunity to add some mid to entry level remote opportunities to your resume if you're interested in transitioning to remote work. I'm always going to bring you guys where you're transitioning, and I'm going to try to specialize it for a field so that we're not always focused on IT, because that's the easy one. But last time we did education, And so I wanted to bring some healthcare. So CVS Pharmacy has this great remote role. I actually know somebody who did this job. The starting pay is $20 up to $39. So if you know a young person or a person who's not making $20 to $39 an hour and wants to do 100% remote role and change their career, this is a great place to start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is actually regional, but you can go on to CVS Health and find some in your own area. I did want to provide at least one opportunity in my area, which is the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, Cincinnati, Ohio, Northern Kentucky area, for those who are local and looking for a job change.
Man, CVS has like hundreds of remote jobs in here.
Yep. And you see it says fully remote.
They have
They need underwriters,
project manager.
client credit accounts coordinator.
They got a telesales representative, $25 an hour. It's pretty strong for telesales.
Your customer experience manager, finance. So yeah, I wanted to bring this. They're hiring again, and they just posted all of these all openings were posted within the last week, so they're under 7 days old. So a great opportunity for you to get in early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see it goes up to 6 pages of fully remote. Yes, that is a winner. CVS is the winner. I like CVS as a store too anyway. But let me now you got one that was talking about Spanish. I was like, I don't know if she looked at all that.
I'm trying to get people as many opportunities as possible.
I don't think it was this one, but this one
Which one?
is for what company is this for?
I didn't send that one.
Yeah, you sent this one. Oh no, this is mine, I think.
Yeah, I didn't send that one.
6 cents. Let me pull that one down. I forgot. I ain't got no title on the thing.
I sent Aston Carter.
Let me see something. Excuse me. Oh, I know you sent this benefits enrollment specialist to the.
This is for my people who are living in Florida. They need people ASAP. This is a contract role. It's only for 3 months, but you work Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. You work from now until December. So this is a great, if you work in the afternoon or work in the evening and you're looking for a remote day job, it's only 3 months. So you can get your holiday money, your Christmas money together, and work part-time. Work full-time during the day. 100% remote from home.
Holiday season is upon us. Summer's over. Let's see. I had one. I think this was the other one that you had actually. Intake coordinator.
Yes. Again, I mentioned it's open enrollment for many healthcare places. So, entry level. And all you're doing is setting up claims, including carrier claims, and provide support to the claim staff. You can't get it. You're setting up and enter new claims into the system. So it's data entry. You're making calls to validate claimant and obtain new details. You're referring claims, so you're escalating. You can assign claims to people. So you're just this is going to be very entry level again. But if you're looking for and this it says fluent in Spanish preferred. So if you have Spanish or you speak a second language, these kind of roles would be a great opportunity for you. And usually they pay you additional for having that second language. But again, this is 100% remote.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been working in healthcare, maybe you work at the front desk, or you're checking in clients, you know, you work at the hospital, patient services, or patient advocacy. You know, these are opportunities for you to take those kind of skill sets and go 100% remote and work from home.
Yes, yes. And you don't have to quiet quit, man, because you're at the house, man. Just go and lay down for a little bit or something. Lay down on the couch or in Cabo, go put your feet in the sand.
Or maybe it's just because you want peace. You don't want to do the 30 minutes to an hour commute. You don't want to have to get up early and take the dog out, put the dog in a cage, and get the kids off to school. Maybe it gives you more time to live your life outside of what you do for a living. You know, I try to be as transparent with you guys as often as I can. And I think we, especially in this time, are all in this transition period where we're struggling to reestablish the balance that we thought we had pre-COVID. You know, we're still trying to figure things out. And it's okay to be nervous and to worry a little bit about what your next moves are. I hope that Adrian and I are at least providing you some information that's going to be helpful in your decision making, but also, you know, inspires and encourages you to find that thing that's your thing. It may not be traveling. It may be, you know, being a baseball coach. It may be, you know, being a tutor. It may be, you know, opening a daycare. Whatever it is, you know, we hope that our conversations here are candid enough to inspire you to figure out what you want for your life and then maybe give you some ideas on how you can make that come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. And I think I got one more myself here. Man, it's just countless opportunities out here to unlock yourself from that cubicle.
Yeah.
I have a company called Bullhorn. I think they do it's a cloud-based platform for staffing. They create there's a software technology for staffing organizations, and like you see here, remote first organization. I like this. It says over 30% of our employees reside outside of the United States. Headquartered in Boston. Boston. My guy Brown Liquor Baron.
I guess they shout out to Brown Liquor Baron.
Yeah, so this one is pretty simple. It's nothing pretty much. You know, we chime in like, I mean, you know, we're travel addicts and stuff, but I was on some lives last week and I was telling this one guy who was so you know, sometimes when you're in your own shoes, you in your own bubble, you're not cognizant of people that are outside of your bubble. And he was like, man, you know, you can go to this country for about 3-4 days and you go to this country for about 4 days, and you know, kept naming all these, you know, go and try out other places and stuff. And I'm like, that don't really work like that. I'm Like, we only got 2 weeks of PTO in this country.
Yeah.
Off top, that's on the basic end. That's the common requirement.
Yeah.
Some people get a week.
Some people get 5 days.
Yeah.
And they have to earn those days. They have to accrue them, which means you don't got 5 days. You have to earn 5 days.
Right. And in places like this is not Europe, where I think I'm a big fan of AOC, the senator out of New York. And she went to Italy, maybe France or something. And she was saying that, and I knew it was like 4 weeks or so, but it depends on which European Union country you're in. But she was like, I was just blown away that, it's a requirement for you to get 4 to 5 weeks required 4 to 5 weeks time off for every full-time employee. I learned that when I was actually in Cuba. A guy from Sweden was telling me he was there for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, man, how long you been working at your company? He's like, man, yeah, I just started. Like, what? You could take 3 weeks off? Like, yeah, like we work. That's why I love remote work, because like we be working over here in the US, man. We be working our ass off.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. I worked for a German company, and they used to come over here all the time, German owned, and they would come over here all the time, and they would make fun of us. They would say, "You Americans are so serious, and all you do is work."
Right.
These are executives, these are CEOs, and I'm like, we're working for you. I don't understand. If we work like you work, we would be still working here. We would be considered quiet quitting if we work how you work.
You know what? Yeah. I always wondered how the dynamic of that worked out. That's why I was going with asking you if you had tenured people, because I have, well, not as many as I used to. I had younger developers under me, and them, like, to get work done, I'm like, man, I need this work done. And not to say they was quiet quitting, but they was just a little slow on things, they may complain about a few things. So
again, because we grew up in a society, we're in a society that's like, you got to get it done, and you got to stay until you get it done. And they're like, I have a life. So,
but I'm learning too, like in other cultures, South America, Latin America, the Caribbean, it's more like they off understand. It's a bigger acceptance of it, as like I'm saying, this is not acceptable to me. Like, I need to get this done,
Yeah.
But I'm growing in that, to say, okay, well, because like I had one guy that took off like 2 weeks, and he was like, Adrian, I said, man, enjoy your time, man. We'll figure it out, and we figured it out. He just came back last week, but
the truth is, these organizations always figure it out.
Yeah.
They always figure it out.
They always figure it out.
And we have to stop making that our problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, the problem is way above me. And it's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to solve that problem. Because honestly, I could tell you how to solve that problem, but you're not willing to do what it takes to get there. I've worked for these organizations. You hear me? Where you tell them, they ask you, Tiffany, you just seem to have some insight of what's going on top, bottom. What do you suggest? And I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And you're going to look at me and say, that's so radical to think like that. And it's like, because you're bringing in more people to do the job that requires more people, that's not really radical. It's just, to me, it's responsible.
Right.
But,
Yep. So that's it. That's our show for tonight. We're at 104, hour and 4 minutes over. 4 minutes over an hour. I hoped everyone enjoyed this show. Please share and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Any closing remarks, Miss Tiff?
Don't be afraid to start taking the steps to build the kind of life you want for yourself. If that involves you setting boundaries with friends or in the workplace, you know, always do it from a place of loving yourself, loving those around you, but seeking your purpose, your thing, what you were created to do outside of the workplace, and make that a priority for you. It will enhance who you are as an individual. It will enhance your impact on other individuals, and it'll make being who you are so much more worth it if you understand why you're doing it for yourself or your family, whatever is your motivation. So don't be afraid to. It's scary. Think about Peter stepping out the boat and during a storm, and it's scary, and you don't know if you're gonna be taken care of. But truth be told, if you're religious, God got you. You just got to take those first steps towards the life you want for yourself.
Right. Um, in a few days, one of the greatest times is coming up. Zodiac Libra is coming up September 23rd. One of the greatest signs that you could probably ever come across. And the scales is what is representation. It's a balance. We have to be in balance. And I think that goes for a lot of people. That's where remote works kind of give you that work-life balance. It's I remember my mom was a chef back home. She's a retired chef or whatever at a hospital, and she lost a few people and like died on the job because they was overworked. When I was at Sprint in the call center, people used to work like crazy above and beyond. And I remember one or two people got rolled their ass up out of there on the stretcher because they had a little heart attack or whatever, a stroke, because it was a very demanding job. So that's why we push the remote work, so that you can have some balance, have some flexibility, some time to just chill out. If you want to lay on the couch, if you want to just go to the store, if you don't want to have to stress about your kids coming home and no food in the house, nothing cooked, you got all that handled. So it's all about work-life balance. You got to have balance. You can't let your fears take control of your life, because a lot of times it's around fear. Well, I don't want to get fired, or I don't want to miss out on my raise, and I always believe what's for you is for you.
Yeah,
Don't take that.
get it. If it's for you, you're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it. But sometimes we get in our own way, and it'll cause us to be tripped up. So, um, but that's my preaching moment. We're glad to have y'all on and stayed on as long as you did. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back again with another Matic Mondays in another 2 weeks. And that's it. And we're gone.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.